Hello, this is the first episode of Garry's Mod server reviews, and today I shall be reviewing this server called RPS, which stands for Role-Playing Server. Quite the unoriginal name, but I suppose that doesn't affect the roleplay as a whole. It's a DarkRP server, so you can't exactly expect much from it, because if you're looking for roleplay, like serious roleplay, I wouldn't recommend this as a whole. But there are some good points and bad points in it. I mean, DarkRP as a whole isn't looked at as the most serious kind of roleplay, but I suppose it's there for fun. I mean, not everyone wants to be extremely serious when looking around for roleplay. But there are some good points for it, such as well, when you're joining, obviously, there's always going to be some downloads you need to get, unless you've been on almost every server, but such as the map I had to download, and my connection is terrible, so it took me about 10-15 minutes. But there was some background music to listen to whilst it was downloading, which was nice, I guess. I mean, it didn't mean I was sitting here in silence, just watching it download slowly. But it did end quite quickly, so I would recommend to that server to loop it so it didn't end. But that's a good point there. And you also see the scoreboard when you're joining. You see all the players that are on and how much money they have. I guess that's okay in a way. But as soon as I joined the server, what I instantly found was that there are lots of pop-ups like across my screen and in the chat box, and they continually came up. Just annoyed me, really. It's just, you know, it's difficult to roleplay when you can see this massive paragraph appear in your chat box saying, oh, you can donate for this, or if you want to contact an admin, blah blah. So it was quite irritating sometimes. And I mean, the biggest one was where it came across the top of my screen and constantly reminded me that the server's still being worked on and there may be some errors. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. I mean, some of the players were difficult to cooperate with. I mean, obviously, you'd expect that in DarkRP. There'd be whining and things like that. But parts of it were fun. I mean, as a server overall, I would probably rate it 7 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10, depending on what day it is. Because it can really depend on what admins you have on and what kind of players you have on. But if you were to get friendly players who agree with each other, then I would definitely say that it's a reasonable server. I mean, you've got friendly administrators, friendly players if you get the right crowd. But there can also be days like today. I've been on for about a good hour or so, and it's difficult when you constantly see people going in OSC, oh, he RDM'd me, and the admins just sit there and don't do much at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, the admins were trying to do their best. I mean, it's very difficult to administrate in a DarkRP, as some of you may know. I mean, with the constant bickering of he killed me or I killed him or something like that, or NLR, it's just difficult. But I think they did their best. But there were some times where I had to contact them multiple times using a command that talked to them specifically, but they didn't reply for a good 10-15 minutes, which is not too bad, but it's better than not ignoring me whatsoever. But it was kind of over by the time they'd replied to me. So, but yeah, I do think it's a good server. Though there were some weird parts in the F4 menu when you went to choose the job, and they had some not very well edited things, such as they had an extra class called a Vortigon. It was basically, the description was exactly the same as the hobo. I mean, literally it said hobos can do this and hobos can use this sort of command and things like that, but just the name was a Vortigon, and the model was a Vortigon, so it wasn't that much work done there. And you could see the same was for a class called Secret Service, which had the same description as a police officer and things like that. So there's some work to be done, I'd say, in some of their job descriptions. I mean, it's not difficult to do it. I mean, you don't even have to be good at coding to understand how to change a description of that if you're looking through the files. Obviously, in most DarkRP servers, you find that there are random emotions and places and sometimes it's too late to fix it once it's happened. So you kind of expect that from a DarkRP server, so you would have to expect it from when joining this server. But however, what I did find was there wasn't a command for /me. And if you're not familiar with role-playing servers, /me is a command to use to do third-person actions. For example, /me walks would appear as your name walks. So it's good for showing actions that your model might not necessarily be able to do. But when I tried to use it, it didn't work, which was quite disappointing. However, keep in mind that this DarkRP wasn't claimed as a serious RP, it was claimed as a moderately serious RP. So, where others might enforce rules harshly, this server enforced them less so. But I wouldn't say it was too bad. I found it fun in places. I mean, there were parts where I've been randomly deathmatched and shot every so often. But if you choose the right job and have some fun with others, you can actually find it quite entertaining. So I definitely give this server a 7 or 8 out of 10. The IP for the server will be in the description of the video. And thank you for watching.